Life in Berenty is in disarray. The lemur troops are ignoring boundaries, raiding territories, and grabbing all the fruit they can find before it disappears. Daily routines are turning upside down. Crystal and her ruins gang must travel farther than ever to find food. While her home's unguarded, the hangers move in. Lowly Erica has a shot at glory. Young male Milton makes a bid for freedom and a mate. And foolhardy Morris continues to pick fights with the neighbors. With all the youngsters on the cusp of adulthood, this is a critical time. The future of individuals, troops, and the next generation hangs in the balance. These are the ring-tailed lemurs of Berenty. 4 gangs fighting for territory. Leaders and losers vying for power. Their world is shrinking and their futures at stake. Who will survive the battles ahead? It looked like the dry season was over. A couple of weeks ago, rains brought new growth, and food followed, but it didn't last. In the rush to grab the bounty, the rival ringtail troops flouted territorial boundaries. It's now December, and there's been no new rain. The little pockets of fruit are few and far between. The troops face a dilemma: stay home to reaffirm their territories, or head out to profit from what they can find. Each leader will have to use her experience to make the right decisions for the group. Making the wrong call could spark a rebellion, and even tip the delicate balance of power between the Berenty gangs. It's early morning, and local Malagasy farmers are heading out to the sisal fields. Watching them is Queen Crystal, head of the Ruins gang. She's a strong ruler who makes tough decisions, and she's about to make one of the toughest yet. Beyond the edge of the reserve are the sisal plantations. Crystal's never needed to take her troop that far, until today. She knows that down this road is food that her troop can't get elsewhere. And where she leads, the rest follow. Leaving her territory is a gamble she's been forced to take. Normally, her Ruins gang has a reliable food source right at home. The Berenty staff bring out kitchen scraps from the nearby hotel. It's meant for some captive tortoises, but the Ruins lemurs have exclusive access and pilfer it routinely. Lately, the extreme heat has kept tourists away. Fewer tourists means fewer kitchen scraps. It's up to Crystal to find an alternative for her troop and for her young one. But that means leaving her territory unguarded. The flower buds and stalks of the sisal plants aren't the best eating, but they can be counted on in tough times. Trailing Crystal is the lowest ranking female in the troop, Erica. She's found a flower bud of her own, but Crystal won't let her eat it in peace. Erica has been the focus of Crystal's bullying for months. All the lower-ranked lemurs suffer under Crystal, but Erica, a former queen herself, has had it tougher than the others because she's the lowest of the low. Just a few weeks ago, her situation became desperate. Denied food and ruthlessly bullied by Crystal, she wasn't able to provide enough milk for her baby Kit. Too weak to cling on to her mother, Kit fell from the treetops and died. But Erica's fortunes are changing. With only herself to look after now, she's getting stronger. Meanwhile, Crystal has spotted an opportunity. In the distance are some cordia trees. These trees only produce fruit for a couple of weeks in the year. It's a rare chance for the troop to supplement their diet. The chewy, sugar-filled berries provide energy, and they're way easier on the jaws than the tough sisal stalks. Crystal's turned this opportunity to the troop's advantage. With the group spread out in the cordia grove, Erica can feed, free from the queen's bullying. Besides, Crystal has other things to worry about. She's not the only one to have discovered the cordia trees. It's the ruins' arch rivals, the museum gang. Crystal has three choices: attack, retreat, or stay put. She's aggressive by nature, but if she launches an attack, she'll have to abandon the cordia trees. She holds her nerve and stays put. Better to feast than fight. She knows that as long as the museum gang are in the next tree, they can't be raiding Ruin's territory back home. But it's not the museum gang she should be worried about. Another troop is on the prowl near Ruin's gang territory. The Hanger Gang, led by Alinda. This troop is similar in number to the ruins and the museums, but its territory is smaller, with even fewer options for food. So Alinda relies on cunning instead, seizing opportunities to steal food when the other troops let down their guard. And right now, both the ruins and the museum's territories are deserted. Alinda nervously leads them across no man's land and onto the boundary wall that surrounds the ruins territory. Usually, this is a no-go area. The Hangers have never beaten Crystal's Ruins gang in battle. But there is good reason to push on. It's time for the delivery of kitchen scraps for the tortoises. It's not the mother lode they were hoping for, but they've taken a risk coming here. So they grab the spoils, such as they are. Normally, Crystal and the Ruins gang would fiercely guard this resource. No other troop would expect to come here without a fight. But these aren't normal times. Unlike Crystal, Alinda puts her troops first. She allows the whole group to feed as she keeps watch. They can't stay here long. If they're discovered, they'll suffer the full force of the Ruins' aggression. And the Ruins gang is heading home. They call to each other as they make their way down the Sisal Road. Alinda hears them just in time. The hangers flee. Too late. They run straight into Crystal and her troop. Everyone's taken by surprise. The result at first is chaos, swiftly followed by a classic lemur standoff. Crystal, as always, is the most aggressive, lunging and scattering both allies and enemies. The chaos allows Alinda and company space to escape. Alinda and all her troop make it back to the safety of the hangar. Crystal may not have lost much in the way of food, but the last thing she needs is the other troops thinking they can enter the Ruins' territory and steal from her at will. She's in a difficult predicament. She's going to have to curtail her feeding expeditions away from their home patch to defend the tortoise pen for times when it will deliver a bounty once more. The museum gang is returning from its own visit to the cordia trees. It's slow going for their leader, Katie. Her baby, Maya, is nearly 3 months old. She watches for subtle signs from Katie telling her when to climb on her back. But appears to ignore all the obvious signals to get off. Carrying Maya takes time and energy. Katie's got another 2 months of this. The youngsters' transition to independence is seldom smooth. Right now, they're exploring their surroundings, but they always come back to Mum. Whether Mum is ready or not. In about 3 weeks, all the infants will wean, progressing to solid food. Then the mothers won't have to act as a constant taxi service. The babies will be expected to keep up. And Maya will have to decide for herself what she can and can't eat. But she's been studying her mother and occasionally making little foraging trips on her own. While Katie spends most of her time eating leaves and fruit, she's not a strict vegetarian. This chameleon is caught in the open and sporting entirely the wrong color if it wants to camouflage itself. Lemurs are blind to certain colors. But green isn't one of them. Even worse, it's chosen the wrong escape route and hit a dead end. As a last resort, it initiates full defense mode, puffing itself up to look dangerous. Katie decides it's too big to eat. But Maya can't help but investigate further. There's something about that gaping mouth, though. This may be worth rethinking. Curiosity satisfied, she hops back home. It's early December. More rain should have arrived by now. This isn't normal for Berenty, and it's a new experience for the lemurs here. With little ripe fruit or fresh leaves, the dwindling handouts at the ruins' tortoise pen have become more important than ever. The hangar's attempted raid clearly affected Crystal. Since then, she's been selfishly guarding the pen from other troops for the sake of her baby and her rule. But that's not in the best interest of the other members of her troop. At a time when leaders need to be flexible and venture away from their territory to seek out food, Crystal decides to put her whole ruins gang on lockdown. She leads her 15-strong troop on border patrol. They stake their claim the lemur way, with scent. They paint landmarks and pathways using glands on their rear ends. The scent says much more than just keep out. It contains up to 203 individual chemicals. From them, the next lemur can tell who made it and which troop they're from. Crystal tries to make sure everyone's pitching in so the whole area is covered. But with 15 members of the troop, she can't keep an eye on them all at once. This is Milton. He seems to be doing his bit, using spurs on his wrist to grind scent into tree bark. But this young male has an ulterior motive. He's sending secret messages of his own. to enemy troops. Milton is 3 years old, around the age when all young males leave their troop. Any female he's related to in the Ruins gang will refuse to mate with him, to avoid inbreeding. So moving on is his only chance to be a father himself. He sneaks across no man's land toward the museum and enemy territory. He must weigh the risk of being attacked with the chance of finding a new mate in a rival troop. In the trees next to the museum, he picks up an interesting scent and responds by adding his own. He catches the attention of a young female from the museum gang, and the chemistry is immediate. But the arrival of a museum male interrupts their tender moment. This new male is protecting both his territory and his potential mates. He throws down the gauntlet, lemur style, by stink fighting. He rubs his own scent on his tail and wafts it at Milton, who takes the hint and retreats home. But this little escapade might be the prelude to Milton leaving the Ruins gang permanently. If he does join the museum gang, he'll be opting to live in a territory with fewer feeding sites. Even when times are fruitful, Katie's troop usually can't find enough to eat at home. So in harsh times like this, she has no choice but to lead them on foraging expeditions. She brings them to a patch of ragged trees with a few seed pods. These are salty seeds. The local people use them as medicine to treat all sorts of ailments. Perhaps the lemurs are after them for the same reason. The heavy adults aren't well suited to climbing the spindly branches. Their lighter weight babies have an advantage, to a point. With all this excitement, no one notices that one of the troop is missing. Morris has been left behind. He's been distracted by an unfamiliar scent. It's coming from a stranger in the road, a male belonging to the Hangers gang. Morris has a habit of making bad decisions in situations like this. He goes straight for the big guns, a stink fight. The enemy calls, perhaps trying to get some help. Morris keeps on stink fighting. And his opponent seems content to let him get on with it. One last flourish from Morris does the trick. And the hanger male turns tail. If Morris left well enough alone, this would all blow over. But he just has to press his advantage. He pursues the male to the edge of hanger territory, wafting his scent as he goes. But now he's crossed the boundary line. The hanger troop spots him from the trees. Morris is heavily outgunned. A stink fight isn't going to get him out of this. He could use some backup right now. But Morris's museum gang is still in the salty trees. Leader Katie is oblivious to what's happening back down the road. By sheer luck, she decides to lead her troop back in Morris's direction. Morris is beginning to realize just how much trouble he's in. But the cavalry's coming. Katie and the museum see what's going on. The hangers charge at Morris. He tries desperately to stay out of their reach. The cavalry needs to hurry up. Every member of the museum gang piles into the chaos. It's Katie's fight now. Although the teams are evenly matched, hers seizes the initiative. The hangers break ranks and flee. Victorious, Morris acts the hero, but he's lucky. Katie and the rest of the museum gang have bailed him out of trouble yet again. It's been a successful day, thanks to Katie's leadership. She's cool in the clutch, but decisive when she needs to be. She's found food for everyone and led her troop to victory. The museums are well-fed, united, and flying high. Meanwhile, in the ruins gang, the situation isn't so rosy. The troop is rooting through scraps at the tortoise pen under Crystal's watchful eye. Right now, the pen is both a blessing and a curse. There's just enough food here to keep them at home, but not enough to satisfy them. The lemurs are a lot less tolerant of petty thieves than they used to be. But there's nothing they can do to stop some powerful brown lemurs from helping themselves. The youngsters in the ruins gang are more active than ever. But their mothers can't just sit and watch. They have to keep eating to provide enough milk to fuel all this activity. Crystal could ease that pressure by leading the troop to find more food elsewhere. But after the recent invasion, she's determined to stay put and defend their home turf. And she expects her troop to stay with her. As always, Erica has had to wait until last to feed. But the best food's already gone. She's hungry, and the desperation makes her braver. It's time to take action on her own. She was once a queen of this troop, and knows the area better than just about any other lemur. That includes where to find food. She's disappeared off on her own before, often unnoticed. This time, she's drawn a crowd. Erica finds herself leading a renegade group of 7 lemurs away from the tortoise pen, leaving Crystal behind with only half her force. Now, Erica is walking with purpose. She's leading, like she used to when she was queen of the ruins gang. Now, the troop is split in two, with Erica leading one faction into the forest on her own mission, and Crystal back at the tortoise pen with the rest. For any other ruins lemur that wanted to sneak off, now would be the perfect opportunity. That fact is apparently not lost on Milton. He's the juvenile ruins male who's been paying sneaky visits to a museum gang female. Once more, he heads into museum territory. He's got females on his mind, and he's ready to take on the world. Just not a Malagasy chicken. He's risking more than a peck from an angry bird if he's caught stealing the museum gang's fruit. He leaps onto the museum roof. then hops down in front of the main building, all in plain sight. Milton's an adolescent, so he's more inclined to take risks than an adult. No doubt he's hoping he's about to run into that female again. He spots another lemur up in the tree. But a closer inspection reveals it's not his lady friend. It's Morris. Morris is older and bigger than Milton. A simple stink fight would probably solve this problem. But for some reason, trigger-happy Morris is unusually hesitant to pull his signature move. Milton, full of young male bravado, isn't yielding either. Neither lemur is willing to attack, nor run away. So the two rivals stay locked in a standoff. Morris at the top of the palm tree, and Milton a few meters below him. While Milton's testing his machismo with Morris at the museum, and Crystal's guarding what's left of her troop at the tortoise pen, Erica and her posse arrive at a cactus patch on the far side of their Ruins Gang territory. Cacti aren't native to Madagascar. They're from the Americas, but the lemurs have adapted to eating their sticky flesh. And they're a great source of water. By leading the other lemurs here, Erica has done what Crystal failed to do. Look after the basic needs of the Ruins Gang. This will have won Erica allies, maybe at Crystal's expense. Back at the museum, Morris and Milton's standoff has just passed the 60-minute mark. This is a long time for lemurs to sit about staring at each other when they could be feeding. There's only so much patience a young male lemur has. So Milton finally backs off. Clearing the way for Morris to descend. Morris rushes to a museum marking post to rub scent and re-establish ownership of this turf, only to find that Milton has beaten him to it. Milton appears to have won this round. But Morris plasters his own scent over the top. In the subtle, fragrant world of lemur skirmishes, a victory never lasts long. Back at the Ruins territory, Crystal's vulnerable. Her troop is at half strength, with only her closest allies around her. Trouble is heading her way. The Hangers Gang. The whole group is on the move, scent marking as they go. They're after the food in the tortoise pen again. Queen Alinda doesn't know it, but she's timed her attack perfectly. Crystal is heavily outnumbered, but she's never been easily intimidated. With Tommy no longer weighing her down, she's in fighting shape. The hangers march through no man's land. Crystal seizes the initiative and rushes in. She takes a central position in no man's land, followed by a lone female ally. The two spread out and stare down 15 hangers. Crystal assesses her options, and she spots a weakness. It's Alinda's baby, alone on the wall. She's become separated from her troop. Crystal and her only ally block the youngster's path to Alinda. Suddenly, the young one makes a break for it. Alinda's got her baby back, and that's all she cares about for now. This should have been an easy hanger victory, but it's ended in their retreat, back to the poorest territory in Berenty. Without many resources of their own, they've been forced to make risky raids. This could have been their moment to claim the riches of the tortoise pen, but they've failed. Life as a hanger lemur is tough. A short distance away, a victorious Crystal sits with Tommy. Her refusal to back down proves she's still the most formidable opponent in Berenty. She's never lost a fight on her own turf. But the aggression that served her on the battlefield could cost her on the home front. She's a bully. Half of her troop has deserted her, following Erica instead to eat in the cactus patch. There are more lemurs here in Berenty than anywhere else on Earth, and they're packed in, so there's little room for a new splinter group. Eventually, Erica's rebels will have to return to the food of the tortoise pen. Erica has no future as a leader. She lost her crown once, and at around 16 years, she's old for a ringtail lemur. But she's exposed a chink in Crystal's armor, one that another female could exploit in the future. It's a very different picture over at the museum. There's no squabbling, no bullying. Just plenty of time to relax and bond. Under Katie's leadership, there's no sign of the tensions that can lead to rebellion. Katie's calm and confident. Maybe she will become more assertive as her experience grows. But she's unlikely to become a tyrant like Crystal. In the last 4 months, the ringtails of Berenty have been through tough times. They've endured heat, drought, and the occasional tropical downpour. But it was never enough to replenish their food. There have been casualties and a few near misses. But between them, the hangars, ruins, and museum gangs have raised 16 babies and lost only 2. Berenty is still the best place to be a young ring-tailed lemur. Leadership for the queens has been a balancing act, trading the needs of their own infants with the greater good of the troops. Each queen has done it her own way. Crystal still rules the strongest troop, the Ruins, and shows no sign of losing her reign anytime soon. She's defended key resources against growing competition. She's been ruthless, and that's caused problems, but she never lost ground to another troop. In this endless war for territory and resources, this is what counts in the end. Katie's museum gang is on the rise. They're the number 2 troop in Berenty right now, but that could change if they hold strong together. Katie's learning well, gaining experience. She's made the right decisions at the right times. She knows when to fight and when to fall back. She's lost key territory, but always found food for her troop when it's needed. And through it all, she's been a loyal leader, nurturing her troop. And even looking out for Morris. Her biggest success might yet be Maya. Although she's only just over 3 months old, she's healthy and brave, the strongest female born this year. She'll still have to fight her own way to the top. But with this head start, she could one day be queen. For all the wild lemurs, the future's uncertain. Forests in Madagascar have all but disappeared. In Berenty's small refuge are crammed half the wild ringtail lemurs that now exist in the world. So the pressure will only increase. If Maya is queen one day, the survival of many ringtails could depend on her. She has a big future ahead.